Hey guys, it's Tara Castaneda here, Diamond Senior Ruby Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. And today I want to talk about a few tips I have to get you moving in your Plexus business. Maybe you find yourself stuck, or maybe you find yourself with a lack of momentum, or maybe you find yourself, you're pretty satisfied, but you want to go faster. Okay, so here are some practical tips I have for you to get unstuck. Now you can find a lot of my other videos where I talk about mindset and affirmations and all that good stuff, which is very applicable to getting unstuck. You can find another video where I talk about 5 things that I did to get unstuck from Senior Gold to get to Ruby, which were practical for me then and still are very practical, so that's another good resource for you. I think it's called My Business Journey, 5 Steps to Growth, something like that. It was a while ago. But today I want to give you 4 very practical things that you can do to get yourself unstuck and your team unstuck. Okay, so the first thing is you have to connect intentionally. So here's a great challenge for you. I can't remember who told me about this challenge, but I really liked it and I modified it just a little bit to fit me. So it's what works for you, right? But you start with making a Hot 100 list. Okay, make your Hot 100 list, 100 people that you want to intentionally connect with. Don't you sit there and say, I don't know 100 people, because yes, you do. Promise you, you do. I've never met a single person that could not write a 100 list when they tried. So there's a little something for you there. But you make a Hot 100 list. And then you do a challenge, a 30-day challenge over this. And I encourage you to do this with your leaders. Do this with your team, okay? And involve them in this. It'll be fun. But you make this list on day 1, and then you split up your 30 days into 4 different weeks, okay? So you have 4 weeks to tackle a list of 100. So that means that you are connecting with 25 people each week. 25 times 4 weeks is 100 people, right? Okay. So what I want you to do is not necessarily just blast out messages to these 100 people. Maybe this list needs to be, let me back up for a second. This, connect intentionally, this Hot 100 list needs to be people that you want to rebuild relationships with, that you want to connect with, okay? So work through this list, 25 people per week. And what I want you to do is on Facebook or on social media, or even in person, you can do a mixture of any of those. But go in and you're going to see these names and say the first name is Susie Q. On week 1, day 2, because week 1, day 1, you made this list. Week 1, day 2, you're going to go through these 25 names and you're going to go directly to their social media page. So I'm going to find Susie Q and I'm going to go and look and see what her life is like. What's her most recent post? I'm going to like them. I'm going to comment on them. What that's going to do is it's going to connect our Facebook accounts so that I'm going to see her stuff come through better, and I'm going to be able to connect with her better and rebuild that relationship better because I'm genuinely interested in what she's got going on, right? And then you're going to do that for all 25 people, right? And then as you're working on that, you begin to dialogue, right? You're going to comment and they're probably going to comment back and you're going to begin dialogues. And then at the end of that week, so you've done this for 6 days of your week 1, connected with 25 people. At the end of that week, maybe on Thursday or Friday, whatever, Saturday, whatever day, end of the week, you're going to send them each a message. And you are going to just be like, hey, I have just loved seeing your stuff this past week or connecting with you on Facebook. How have you been? It's been so long. I absolutely loved your last vacation pictures, or your daughter's dance recital was so precious. Oh my gosh, can you believe we have kids this age? Whatever, but connect with them. I don't want you talking about Plexus. I want you to be their friend. I want you to be their friend. What will eventually end up happening is Plexus will most likely come up naturally in that conversation. And then it will be very organic and authentic, right? They'll be like, what have you been up to? Or how's life going for you? Oh my gosh, I just got back from Plexus Convention. I had so much fun. Or my kids just started a horse camp and they're having a blast. And Last week I was in Orlando. It was so much fun. Oh, what were you in Orlando for? Oh, for Plexus. I don't know if you've been seeing my stuff, but I've just loved this business or what. But you see how it just naturally comes into the conversation, right? And so you do that for week 1, right? And you're going to continue those dialogues over the next several weeks. But week 2 starts, and you're going to go to the next 25 people on that Hot 100 list and start connecting with them every single day on Facebook, liking, commenting. And the end of that second week, you're going to message all those 25 people and start developing that relationship while you've got the other conversations of the other 25 people leading into that second week. You're going to do that for 4 weeks, and you will have strengthened over 100 relationships. Pretty impressive, right? And if Plexus becomes a part of those conversations, wonderful. If not, that's okay too. Timing is everything, and it's all, oftentimes timing is in their court, but at least you've connected and you've rebuilt those friendships, right? So connect intentionally. The second thing that you can do is I want you to be very intentional with your IPAs, right? And what do I consider IPAs? IPAs are income producing activities. And very practically, an IPA is signing an ambassador, getting a customer, helping somebody order, right? That's how you make money. Income producing activities, you sign, you sponsor, you order, right? That's pretty much the practical piece of it. So if you have any of those ready to do, obviously you're going to do those first. But how do you get people to that point? Guys, it is talking to people. I don't like to say this because I don't want people to think that they are numbers, but this is a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more yeses you're going to get. The more no's you hear, the more yeses you will eventually reach, right? So don't get discouraged by the no's, but you've got to always be reaching out and talking to people. So if you find yourself stuck or you need momentum, it's going to start with you. Again, I would encourage your team to do the same thing, but every day, we all have 30 minutes. Don't tell me that you don't. Most Americans watch 5 hours of TV a day. Okay, that's wild. Most Americans spend 2.5 hours just flirting with social media. Okay. I bet you probably go to the bathroom and you sit there for 10 minutes because you just want some peace and quiet. Get on your phone. Send out messages while you're doing number 1. Okay. You've got 30 minutes in a day. So don't tell me that you don't. If you're telling me that you don't have time, one thing I'm going to tell you is then you absolutely need this business because you need to make the time so that you have the time. But if you're telling me that you don't have time, really that's just an excuse and you're saying that this is not a priority to me. Because anything that is a priority to us as a human, we make time for. So, boom, bada bang. Check your priorities. Okay, so 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day, I want you to focus on connecting, messaging, reaching out to people, okay? So that is messaging them about Plexus, following up with them about the business, if they don't message you back, I don't understand why some people just message and then just leave alone, and it's like, no, commitments are made in the follow-ups, guys. It's not the initial message. That's just planting a seed. You got to water it, right? Following up is key, okay? So, but taking 30 minutes to do that. Now, here is the part that I see people mess up the most in their 30 minutes of IPA. They'll send out 3 messages, and so they've started their 30 minutes. Boom, they've got it on their stopwatch. And then they message people, and on the third one, somebody responds. And then they get into a conversation with this person. And then they spend the rest of the time conversing with this one person instead of messaging people. Guys, you've got to have discipline in this, and you've got to look at it and go, no. I'm going to spend 30 minutes contacting 50 different people. If one of these people in the middle of that 30 minutes responds back to me, I am not going to respond until my 30 minutes is up. Now, I know we always want to be available to people that are interested or available to people that respond back to us. Yes, but nobody is going to change their mind in a quick 30 minutes or 15 minutes by the time you're 15 minutes in and you've got 15 minutes left. You have got to be disciplined in your own personal business. I'm speaking to myself here too because I do this too, but you've got to take your 30 minutes of IPA, you've got to reach out be disciplined and send 50 different messages or however many messages you can get out in those 30 minutes. And then if one person should respond, then you get to respond after you've done your 30 minutes of IPA. Make sense? Okay. That is something you need to train down in your team. You've got to have that discipline in your team. Number 3 to get unstuck is you have got to figure out how to get your level 1s to silver as soon as possible. Okay, so I've got to find something on my phone here because I meant to pull it up. But I'm going to train you guys on how to help your people go silver. Okay, so how to develop a level 1 silver, how to guide them, what to say, and why you should do it. So I want you guys to think, this is from Brooke Hemingway, a dear friend of mine who helped me with this. Think of your 10 easiest and 10 best. Okay, so this is what you would say as a sponsor to someone who wants to go silver. Okay, I want you to think of your 10 easiest and 10 best. 10 easiest means that those are the people that you have the most influence over, maybe your mom, your spouse, your grandmother, your brother, your sister, your bestie, whoever, right? Closest to your inner circle. And then your 10 best, who you think really could use these products or be really great at the business, right? 10 easiest and 10 best. And I want you to reach out to them, right? Okay, I'm going to read you some examples here. Let me back up. So you want your person who's interested in going silver to make that list of 20. 10 easiest, 10 best. So let's back up. Here's what you can say to a new ambassador who wants to go silver. Okay, I'm going to read it to you. Let's get you off to a fast start by looking at those closest to you. I'd love for you to jot down a list of the 10 easiest contacts and 10 best contacts. For your 10 easiest, I mean those that are closest to you. You have a great relationship with. Those are the ones that trust you and will be more likely to give this a try just because it's you asking. For your 10 best, I want you to think about those people that really need the products or would be really great at the business. I'd love to help you reach out to all of these people in your first 24 to 48 hours so that we can get the ball rolling for you, because I believe we can get you to silver in under 7 days. This is super easy for you. I'm here to help with all of the messages and what to say and answering questions, so it's even more simple for you. What do you say? That's what you say to get someone interested in silver. Okay, what you can say to a wholesaler who is open to referrals and who would like free product. This is not somebody necessarily who's interested in the business. The other one is someone who's 1% interested in the business. This is for somebody who's just wholesale interested. Let's make this so easy for you by taking a look at those closest to you for some referrals, if you're open to that. Just 3 friends alongside you would actually get your products paid for. So let's see who we could refer to have them try this with you. I'd love for you to jot down a list of your 10 easiest contacts and your 10 best contacts. Go through and explain what that is. And say what I said at the very end of the other message. I'd love to help reach out to those in the next 24 to 48 hours with you, and let's see what referrals we can help you gain. Okay? No pressure, no added work for you. I'm here to help you all along the way. Right? So that's super important. And then encourage them to send very simple messages. Hey friend, I'd love to chat with you more. I just started Plexus. I think you'd love it. When would be a good time to chat? Something simple, something short. Always end with a question. It's open-ended that allows them to respond back to you, right? If you don't ask a question, oftentimes they won't respond. So invite them into the dialogue. Ask a question. I want you guys to remember that silver should not be complicated. What I see a lot of times happen in my downline is people, they want their level 1s to go silver, but they overcomplicate it. And they're like, oh my gosh, well, they need to start a business. Hold up for a second. First off, I never, ever, ever say, would you like to start a business with me? That is such a heavy statement, and people don't have time to start a business. Everybody's busy, right? That is an intimidating statement to hear or question to hear, okay? So I always just say, start out simple. Hey, would you ever like to make some money or get your products paid for? Super simple. Let me help you, right? But silver should not be complicated. If you are thinking, oh, well, they're just a wholesaler. They're not going to want to do this. They're not going to want to, do referrals. Well, now you're projecting your own fears and thoughts onto them before asking, right? So don't overcomplicate this. If you can get somebody to message 20 people to 50 people in their first 24 to 48 hours, I can put some money on the fact that they will go silver within their first 30 days, okay? Okay, if someone does those things, they make their list and they reach out and they are struggling to go silver, okay, that means that they don't have 3 people in their lives that they have that much influence over. That's interesting. Either that person is really struggling with self-doubt or they're struggling with some major influence issues. Because if you're telling me, if you're watching this video and you're telling me that you don't know 3 people that would do something just because you asked them to do it, that is completely risk-free, like you can get your money back, just try this with me. If you don't know 3 people, my first 3 people were my husband, my mom, and my grandmother. If you don't know 3 people, we got some work to do, right? Either we got some work to do on your self-doubt and your self-talk, or we got some work to do on your influence. There's a gap in your influence. Or possibly, I'll add this third little caveat, maybe their social media posts about Plexus or their messages weren't very good. So I revisit those and make sure, as their sponsor, to take a look at them and go, this is really salesy, or this is really pushy, or you sound kind of doubtful and hesitant in this message, or that post really didn't. You see what I'm saying? So self-doubt, gap of influence, or simple tweaks to their posts and their messages could help. So here are 7 ways that you can fix the gap in influence. Okay, so if that's what they're struggling with, fixing the gap of their influence. You got to build trust in relationships, right? So the first one is you need to connect with people emotionally, right? Be emotional when you're connecting with people. Humans want to feel connected emotionally. So if you guys are just sending out messages that are very bland, or your posts are very bland, you don't seem very passionate, you don't explain why you like this, you're not explaining how it's enhancing your life, there's no emotion, and you're just kind of like in your face and adamant about it, okay, you're not really connecting. Number 2, be emotionally curious. Be emotionally curious. Come across as curious about others' emotions, because then that connects and that lays common ground so that you can have that influence together. Number 3, use high-powered body language. Okay, what do I mean by that? You got to be assertive. You got to be confident. You got to be passionate. Guys, if I started making videos and I was like, so I like Plexus. It's done some things for me, and it's definitely done some things for some other people. And I really think that you would really like it, but I totally understand if you're not interested in it. I don't want to push you, but I just, I've really liked it, and it'd be a lot of fun if we did it together. Okay, I said the right words, but my body language and my tone of voice was not assertive, was not authoritarian, it was not confident and passionate. But if I said, hey friend, okay, I know you've seen my Plexus posts, but I believe in it so very much. It has completely changed my life. I truly believe this. I am off medications. I am feeling better. I've lost so much weight. I just feel healthier, and it's done the same for my husband and my kids. And I've had 3, beautiful babies, and blah 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 blah. But and also this business, it has completely changed our lives. Like, we no longer worry about finances or bills that pop up. We're able to buy a new house because of this. Like, it is changing lives, and I really believe that you could do this too. I believe it could enhance your life. I know you love the products. I really, really believe in you. I think you do great at this. Can we please talk? I just, let me send you something. I really want to talk to you about this. I believe in it, right? I'm passionate. I'm assertive. I'm leaning forward. I'm engaged, right? Those things matter. Number 4, tell a story. Become a good storyteller. Kendra Hall, Kindra Hall, Kindra Hall. Kendra Hall. She's been a corporate resource for us. She's a fantastic storyteller. She teaches you how to tell your story. She has some great resources online. I think she's got a really good book too. But I subscribe to her emails, so I get emails, I think almost daily. But they're really good videos on how to become a better storyteller. When you tell your story, guess what you also do? You become vulnerable, authentic, and you let your emotions show. So you're connecting, which means you're influencing. Be vulnerable is number 5. Gotta be vulnerable. Number 6 is ask for a favor, right? When you ask for advice or when you ask for a favor, you're taking yourself from here, putting yourself down here, and putting the other person up. So it makes the other person feel like they can trust you a little bit better, and everybody wants to feel like they're worthy of someone else's advice, right? Or giving someone else advice. I find it so flattering and honoring when somebody asks me, hey Tara, can I ask for your advice? It makes me feel special, and it connects us together, right? So ask for a favor, ask for advice, and become charismatic, right? Be charismatic. Like people. I want you to enjoy people, like people. And when you do, that's going to come across. And when you are able to be charismatic with another person and put them before yourself and connect with them, it just builds your influence, right? If you need help with your social media posts, I have some YouTube videos on some Facebook do's and don'ts and what to say when you post about Plexus, something like that. So there's just some resources for you. But the key thought here is that anybody that's 1% interested in the business, you've got to be talking about the business to encourage more business builders. If all you're talking about are the products, or if you're hesitant or apologetic when you're talking about the business or helping people go silver, you're not going to have business builders on your team, right? I have a video of how to get out of your own rut and attract business builders. Watch that if you need to know how to get more business builders on your team. And don't wait to share Plexus, right? These are things you're going to be telling your person that wants to go silver. Don't wait to share Plexus, right? Don't wait for this magical testimony. You don't need it. Share other people's results. Share your testimony as it's increasing. Better energy. My first post was how I had better energy. That's not even why I started Plexus. On that post, I got my very first customer, and she's now an ambassador with me, working the business 4.5 years later. So if you're thinking that you need some magical testimony to then tell everybody, you're doing a disservice to your audience because you're not helping as many people as you actually could. Because your testimony is going to be different than their testimony or what they need, right? Same with a huge financial testimony too, guys. You know, most people do network marketing just to make $100 or $200 more a month. They're not in it for the big, huge money, right? Occasionally you're going to find people that really want that, but most people just would love supplemental income. And so if you are making an extra $100, $200, $300, that is hugely impactful to many other people in America or your friends and family. An extra $100 can pay for grocery, an extra unexpected bill, or $200, $300 can pay for groceries that month, right? That's life-changing for some families. So you don't need this wild, huge testimony, right? These are things you're going to be telling your team as they're wanting to go silver. So that was a longer segment, but you've got to get your team duplicating. You can have tons of runners on your team who are recruiting 3 people every single month, but if they're not duplicating, you've got exhausted runners, right? You've got to be getting your level 1s to silver. And those are some tips on how you can have some conversations, reassuring, what to say, how to help them, all that kind of stuff. My number 4 thing, and we're wrapping up here, practical tips to get you unstuck, is you got to get your team on board with you. You can be doing all 3 of these things. Connect intentionally with that Hot 100 list, your 30-minute IPAs every day, developing level 1 silvers. You can be doing all those things. But if your key leaders are not doing the same, what did I say? You can have runner, but then you're going to have an exhausted runner because there's no duplication. So structure your team activity around these things. Structure your team activity around these things, around connecting intentionally and working a Hot 100 list, around doing 30-minute IPAs. If you only do a 21-day challenge of 30-minute IPAs and people do that for 15 days, they don't finish it all for 21, that's not going to get you where you want to be. What you do today affects 90 days from now. So I'm not saying necessarily do a 90-day challenge, but do 30-minute IPA challenges every month, right? And the same people can participate, or new people can participate, but it sounds less intimidating than committing to something for 90 days, right? But getting your team on board with this, right? I did Club Onyx on my team. You may have heard of that now. I shared that at convention. That was helping the third point, getting duplication happening on my team. You enter into this VIP club of Club Onyx when you sign 3 level 1s and develop 1 level 1 silver. So it's a 3 plus 1, 3 level 1s. When you add 3 level 1s in a given month, plus create a level 1 silver. 3 plus 1, that means you're in Club Onyx. We did cash rewards to get it started, private coaching calls, and huge, massive team recognition, right? So that's one way to get your team on board. But if you can work on those practical things and you focus on them longer than 21 days, you focus on them for a set of 90 days, truly getting your team active with the right kind of 30-minute IPAs, the right kind of intentional connection, the right kind of duplication, you will not be stuck for very long.